Judy from Witchpeace Craft. Welcome to those new subscribers who have joined me over the past week or so. Sorry there's been a bit of gap in videos, but we get there in the end. I hope you enjoy the content and you stick around and let us know in the comments below what you like to do, whether you knit, you crochet, what things do you like to make. Those new subscribers, I'd love to hear from you. So this is a 3-part vlog of build up to my market day. I am late. I forgot I hadn't done an intro. It happened last Sunday, and I explained in the last part why it's a bit late. So part 1 is my last minute market mates, the last few things I made before the market and the patterns I use. Part 2 is thrift shopping things that I found for my market. I always recommend thrift shopping. You never know what you're going to find. And that were handy things I found for my market stall. And then also in part 2 is some items I haven't sold, but I didn't want to drop the price or stick them in a mystery bag, and I've embellished them or revamped them. So check that out because it might give you some ideas. And I also set my goals for what will happen on the day in part 2. Part 3 is a review of the day, the sales, and how it went. Did it meet my expectation, or was it a disappointment? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Stay tuned. Make sure you can go to the part you want to watch, or I'd prefer it if you watch the whole video, because apparently YouTube are taking more watch hours off me, and I could use the watch hours. So stay tuned for part 1 and enjoy this long vlog. Bye for now. Hi, welcome to my last minute makes. So it's a beautiful sunny day today, which is great because by Sunday the 9th of August, this is midweek, I want it to be sunny. We did have a lot of rain earlier in the week and I started to think, oh no, here we go again. Anyway, my last minute makes, because I don't think I will get much more done before the market. I'm pretty busy at work and I have a lot of medical stuff going on. And so I've decided this is it. I've drawn a line in the sand. Anything I make from now on will just be for fun. Always the way, background noise. I decided after watching a few other content creators to make some characters. It's not something I've made a lot of, and I've only made a couple now. But I thought, well, they fit that $12 to $15 price range that I want to have. And I have a lot of million scraps, and they were ideal for that. So the first one off the hook is by Knotty Knat. It's a Chonkymon, this one. Is it Psychic Kitty by Knotty Knat. I bought quite a few of her patterns when she took them down off Etsy. You can contact her. I don't know if they're still on Etsy or on a Ko-fi shop or something like that. Hopefully I'll have links in the description below this video for you to check out the patterns, tutorials, all the stuff I talk about. But this is millions, that's millions, and I actually gave it artificial eyes because I thought they suit that. It was a great pattern, really easy to make, quick make, and it turned out looking great. So I'm really happy with that character. I then went on to this one, and for the life of me I didn't write down what it's called. More millions. I think it's Leafy On, something like that. But this one is by, I have to look it up, Beck Made Studios. I bought a few of her patterns too, or a bundle. And I decided on that one because I had these greens in scraps. And this was a quick make. I really like this one too. And it still fits that price range. Then I was inspired after watching Tatiana Hoso Stitch. I watched both of her Supernova videos. I recommend you watch them. They're really interesting. We don't get Comic-Con, Supernova, big things up here. We just have our small regular markets. But she did sell quite a few of these, and I didn't really know what they were, so I had to go and have a look. And she talked about a free pattern on Instagram by Odin Plush. That's the one I used. So I have got Snom. Inspired by Tatiana, I made one because I had white mullein scraps, blue mullein scraps, and they've all got artificial eyes for these. So that's my characters. I have a few other characters in stock that I'll put with them and have like a group for people to look at. This was also, won't be a moment, this was also inspired by Tatiana at Oso Stitch from her Comic-Con, Supernova videos. Must check them out. I found them a lot of fun and really interesting to watch, and I could stop and start them and watch them through when I wanted to do other things. So I have made a Kirby before, and when I made it once, I said never again, the pattern I tried, but I did sell it straight away at my first market for a really good amount. But she had sleeping Kirby, and I really loved it. And I decided I would make a sleeping Kirby. I didn't put the stars or circles on his hat or her hat. I just really, really loved it. It was so easy to make, and it's so cute. So yet again, inspired by a fellow content contributor and crafty person, Tatiana at Oso Stitched. Isn't he cute? It's all made in Zaddy Craft yarn. It's a pattern on Etsy, a paid for pattern by AQ Crochet. 4.5 millimeter crochet hook for me for Zaddy Craft. A lot of people use 5 or 5.5. For me, if I did that, it's too holly. I have to use a 4.5. It's just the way I crochet. What do you think to Kirby, Sleeping Kirby? He is a character, so he will go in the display of characters on my market stall. Put that one over there. I then had an old whip. I started this, I made one, and then I thought, well, I'll make another one. And I don't know. I don't like the way they turn out. I probably won't make any more of these unless I can find better yarn. But I made and finished my mermaid. The reason I didn't like it was I think I did too many belly rows and not enough at the top. And I thought, oh, it looks funny. And then I decided I'd give it a bit of a frill to make it look better. And I made a mermaid. I have a brown mermaid that I've made before. So this was an old whip I wanted to finish. I don't usually have old plushy whips. And it's a mixture of millions. I've held 2 yarns here together to get the thickness. This colour is when I played Mad Scientist and tried dyeing blanket yarn in bright yellow, and that's the colour it turned out. So I've used all of that now, millions, and I gave her artificial eyes. They turn out quite big. There's just something about the face and head I don't like. But it's a Madeline Mako pattern, and I love her patterns, so I think it's the yarns I'm using that makes it turn out. I gave her a bit of a wry smile because, yeah, but at least I finished the whip and it will go to market and I'll sell it at a price for it to move. It won't be too expensive. Then I saw a pattern release and I wanted to try my Premier Parfait plush yarn that I had bought. I had bought one ball in carrot orange, and I thought when I saw this pattern release, that's what I'm going to make. And it is by Spammy Crochet on Etsy. And it is, a carrot. Isn't he gorgeous? Look, I had a few issues with the way she did leaves, and because I do lots of leaves on other things, not necessarily plushies, I just ended up doing them sort of her way, sort of my way, and I gave him artificial eyes. Parfait plush, what do they call it? Parfait plush. I love it. I really did like this yarn. I do not like Parfait chunky because of my bad experience with it. But yeah, this is a great pattern. And it's an amusable carrot, which little kids will really love. And I'm actually attempting to grow carrots in my garden for the first time ever, in my little veggie garden. So far 2 have died as they've shooted. So I don't know if the bugs are getting to them, but we'll see. What do you think to the carrot? Isn't he gorgeous? So he will go with my other amusable jelly cat type products. So then I was killing time at a medical appointment, and all I had in the car was some scraps and a hook. And I decided, and I had this bag of stuff that I've been carrying around, and it was the products for a gummy worm. So I made another gummy worm, which will give me 3 gummy worms. They're pretty quick and easy, and I may take some more scraps and stuff to the market because they'll be what I'll be making, because I'm generally there most of the time on my own. That's a tutorial by Celestial Homebody, Katie. It's perfect. I used a 5.5mm crochet hook, a more scrap millions yarn. Yeah, they were millions. So then I was inspired by, I was watching Southern Gal Crochet, and she showed a keychain of a capybara, and I really liked it, and I went and bought the pattern off Etsy, and there it is. But that was my second one. So this is a pattern by Mario Motki Patterns on Etsy. Hopefully I've said that right. That was my second one. He looks great, doesn't he? And he's made in Zaddy Craft yarn with a 4.5mm crochet hook. But my first one was made with Patty's Plush, and the family thought he was a wombat. So I'm just going to hang him up. If someone says, oh, what a cute wombat, I'm just going to agree. So I made 2, and they were inspired by Southern Gal Crochet. I do watch a channel. I don't often comment on a lot of channels, but I did really like this, and I definitely would make more in Zaddy Craft yarn. I think the Patty's Plush, he wasn't enough of a different colour, and he also finished out a bit smaller than I want. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't make more if people call him a wombat. So I have 2 keychains to add to my list of keychains. Well, he'll be like a bag buddy. He'll be a keychain. And I have 28 keychains. I remember that. I'll tell you why. And I can't remember how many bag buddies because I haven't counted those yet. Then I have... And this was inspired. Look, everybody has this pattern. Everybody's been showing it and making it. And like I said, I've never really been into dragons. And I don't know, I was watching Jenny in my spare time crochet, and she made some. And for some reason, the way she talked about them, I hadn't bought the pattern. It inspired me to make some. So thanks, Jenny, for inspiring me, because I have made 2 sleeping dragons. I did contemplate making a third, and if I get time I may do a black one, but these are great, so easy to make, so quick, and they look awesome. So I have 2 sleeping dragons. Now the sleeping dragons is by Nooks Hooks. It's a paid for pattern, and yeah, all Zaddy Craft yarn with a 4.5mm crochet hook. So I have 2 dragons. And you see, fellow content creators, when I watch their videos, can inspire me to make something. It's nice to do some original things, and I do look for original things, but often someone will make something like the Snom with Tatiana at Her So Stitch, and I think, I'm going to make that. She's down the coast a long way from me, so hopefully someone here will know what it is. Now, I have been doing a bit of an inventory count on items. I've decided that bag is finished. Count, write down what's in there, zip it up and put it aside. Don't add to it. And one of the things was I started with the bigger items and, well, the higher priced items, $18 and up, because I don't carry a lot of those. On average, there's usually about 10 in each price group. And I was really shocked because one of them, I was convinced I had 2 Demigorgons. And I know I took 3 to the last market and only sold 1, but I can only find 1. And I did have some kids in the store where a lady warned me that they were notorious shoplifters. And I haven't even discovered till now I'm missing a Demigorgon. So I guess he went the way of those kids. Anyway, I made another one last night. I decided I want at least 2, and they will go in the character section too. It's just mill ends yarn. I am trying to use up some of these mill ends, especially the scraps or half balls left over. Because in the mill ends bag, there's about 400 grams, and depending on what you make, you can get quite a few items out of them. I really like this black, I don't know what you call it. I think it is mystical. It's like a black grey texture, a bit of purpley look in the sunlight. I have priced things because some of these are going to be going away, counted and zipped up in a bag. So that's about my last minute makes, other than make-alongs and other things that I plan to do to enhance my store. So that'll be in another part of the vlog. Hope to see you there. Hi, so it's Saturday, the day before market, and I thought I'd share with you some last minute things, some thrift shop items I'll be using on my market stall, and some previous plushies I've made that haven't sold for different reasons that I have embellished or revamped to try and get them to sell. So work's been really busy, and normally I craft during my lunch hour, but I've needed to have a break from the office a couple of times. And around where I work, there is 3 or 4 charity op shops, whatever you want to call them, thrift shops. And a couple of days, and I went out and had a look to see what they had. And I found some treasures for my market stall. So first off the ranks is we can't use plastic bags. We have to use paper or bags that are environmentally friendly. Our region has the Great Barrier Reef, and plastic is deadly to the reef and turtles and all that sort of thing. So I buy bags from Officeworks, a stationery store here. I've looked online at getting bags up here that are cheaper, but the freight makes them more expensive, so it's not worth it. I just go to Officeworks. So in one of the thrift shops, for the first time ever, I have found my bags, an unopened pack of craft paper carry bags, the small size I get that little girls love. There is 25 in the pack. I would normally pay 12 Australian dollars for this pack, and I got this pack for $3.50, 25 unopened. So that is a bonus for the expenses on my market stall. Now, the other thing is I bought some stands a while back from the thrift shop that I shared with you that I really liked, and they only had 2. And I know at the last market I said to Thing, I'd really like 2 more. They're just perfect. And lo and behold, I found 2 more of these. Ta-da! Now, the last stall I paid $2. This time I paid $3, but I don't mind. They are perfect for sitting plushies on that want to fall over, but they're even better for book buddies, and I do like them. The only thing is the wood is raw, so at a later date, he's got a lot of projects on the go. I might get Thing to sand them down and seal them so they look a little better. But right now, I'm going to use those 2 on my market stall. The other thing I found at a thrift shop was a lot of content creators have talked about it and do it and say how it's a success. And I found a jar, a plastic jar that was ideal for pickles or worms, whatever you want to put in it. And this is my jar that I paid $1.50 for. Now I had 3 pickles, and I decided I'd make a pickle jar. I will put a sign on this, I just haven't made it yet. So this dark green yarn is Spotlight Motivera blanket yarn that they brought out in this color once. I don't like this yarn, and I am trying to use it up, and it's ideal for pickles. It hurts my hands, and they're a quick, easy make that don't give my hands too much grief. This lighter green is a Millens yarn, same sort of thickness, hurts my hands too, does work a little better, and I made, with what scrap was left, 4 pickles in light green. In this jar is 10 pickles, and 6 are dark green and 4 are light green, and hopefully that will be a success on my market stall. And this is a perfect jar. I mean, we wouldn't eat cheese balls or anything in a jar like that. So I've always sort of thought, if I see a jar, I'm getting it. And $1.50 was a bargain. So that was my foray into thrift shops for my market stall. So then I revamped some items when I've started doing inventory count, and I came across some items I know I've had for a while or haven't sold for different reasons. So I'll just get them, won't be a moment. So I've got 2 turtles. I've had them for, probably since November last year, maybe even longer. And everyone picks them up, looks at them. They're not overpriced, but people wouldn't buy them. But they were very plain. They were both in purple colors. So this one was just purple without this purple frill. So it was just like that. And what I've done is, they're a little big to go in mystery bags, because normally the items I don't sell go in mystery bags, but I try and keep my mystery bags to $15, and I would lose on this, and I'm not prepared to lose on it yet. So I asked Reeves, and he picked this color, and he said, do you like a frill? Just dress it up a bit. So that's what I've done to revamp with that. So that's my tip to you. If you have an item that's very plain, people look at it but don't buy it, before you drop the price, try revamping it or give it some embellishment to make it look a little better. With this turtle, I just gave him green leaves on the back. Reeves said, make him look like, I don't know, a piece of fruit. Give him some green leaves, which I used some scrap yarn. And that's what I've done to revamp these 2 turtles. So wish me luck that they finally sell. Otherwise, I will have to do some bigger mystery bags that are more expensive. I haven't had this item long, but I think I've taken it to 2 markets. On both markets, people have picked it up and said, what is it? It's an amusable, and it was bread and butter. It was just bread and butter with a bit of butter. And they were like, well, what is it? So what I have done, I've made it look more like a Pop-Tart. I've given it all these colors. It's a acrylic yarn that's like a variegated. It was a scrap that Barbara sent me. Thank you, Barbara, because this was perfect to make it look like it's bread with hundreds and thousands or a Pop-Tart. But I'm hoping by making it look like that, people actually realize what it is. His foot's gone a bit funny. He's been squished in the bag. But that's what I've done with that. So that's what I do. Before I put them in mystery bags, if I think they're worth getting the money for and I want to recoup my cost at a decent rate, I'll look at how I can revamp them. And I often ask family for advice, because you sort of get a mental blank. I really couldn't move past the lavender turtle, the lighter one. I just couldn't think what to do with it. So I'm really glad. The trim is Stylecraft DK, I can't remember what color, that I bought from Wool Warehouse. So I'm glad I bought that color, because it really enhanced that turtle. And that's what I've been doing. I do have tea cozies, a couple of tea cozies that haven't sold. And I looked at them and I thought, well, those I'm pretty good with myself. I know how I can embellish them and make them a little better. So here goes. Anyway, I've had a couple of last minute makes. I won't be long. So I have done some last minute makes because I did a poll on my community tab. How many wraps should I make? I don't know why I put 2, because I already had 3. So it was 2, 4 or 6, because in the comments people made suggestions and I decided I needed a clear vote, and the winning vote was 4. So I made another rat. Here it is. I made a white rat. I really love this pattern. The link will be in the description below because the name escapes me. But it is a paid for pattern on Etsy. It's definitely been worth the money. And I now have 4 rats in different colours. With this one, I did the embroidered eyes, but instead of adding white, I added a bit of blue to give them a bit of life. So thank you everyone for voting. I have made my 4th rat. Wish me luck that I sell for. Won't be a moment. So you have to be quiet about this one, because it's for Wheelie Wednesday. And this video may go up before Elaine at Penguin Plays has time to put out a slideshow on what we made for Wheelie Wednesday this fortnight. But I've got to share it with you because I'm taking it to the market and I really love it. I don't know why, I just do. So we had to make a gnome in, I think it was bright patchwork or patchwork, something like that. And I racked my brain and I couldn't come up with patchwork, but I came up with a free pattern on Instagram by Anne Creates for a Christmas gnome, and I changed the colors. So here we go. This is my gnome, patchwork gnome. So I made it in Zaddy Craft scraps, and as you can see, I just continued. I did not worry about where they fell. I just used what I had. I managed to have enough green in like a bit of a ball to do the legs and enough blue, and then I did his hat. It is a bit stiff. It's supposed to bend over a bit. I may pin it down and steam it, and I used, rather than just crochet a beard, I crocheted a like a fake fur beard. But that is my Wheelie Wednesday gnome that's going to my market. He's just a little different from everything else. It was such a great tutorial. There's a slight bit, it's not pattern on Instagram. There's a slight bit that's missing that's being cropped off, but you'll be able to follow it. But I thought by making him all jagged with joins, it made him look a bit patchwork or a bit patchy. So that's Patches the gnome. Don't tell anyone till Wednesday if this video comes out before. So as I said, Sunday tomorrow is the market, and I'm hoping for fine weather. It's sunny today, a little overcast. I don't want any rain. So the last video, I had these in my hair. Only one person commented. These are knitting needles, small wooden knitting needles. I found at a thrift shop. Rubbed them down and scrubbed them, and then painted them yellow for me because we had some yellow leftover paint. And I have two really cheap small crochet hooks from the thrift shop. Why are they in my hair? Well, I got my bay number, which is the same. I always get the same one. Bump in time. Look, I didn't get any of the details because I've been doing these markets, and they know that Thing and I are very respectful of when to bump in and when to move on and what to do. So I just got, this is your bay number, same as usual. So I'm really happy about that. But besides pets, they've introduced Crazy Hair Day. And that's why I bought these. And I thought, well, I will have better hair. It's a bit messy today. And I'll put these in my hair. And today I'm going shopping a bit later. I'm going to try and get some of that purple leave-in that doesn't last long to put in my fringe to have Crazy Hair Day. I like to support them in little ways. The only problem with that is my big meeting's on Wednesday, and I'm hoping it washes out by then, because no doubt it will raise comment at the meeting that I have joined the purple rinse set. For those of you as old as me, you'll know what I'm talking about. So to date, I have done all my market inventory. Everything is counted, and I now know what I have. So in plushies, I have 172 plushies, $3,324. So the average price is about $19.32 with those plushies. Whether I take them all is another thing, because this is just a small community market. In other miscellaneous items, I have $1,119, 114 items, because that includes tea towels. Average price is $9.81. So total inventory I have is $4,443 and 286 items. I know I have 48 tea towels. Anyway, it is a small market, and cost of living has just skyrocketed here. Our fuel price has gone way up again, like 20 cents increase a litre this week. And foods will go up because a lot of our food is freighted up here. So the fuel price increase will go on the food. So I'm not expecting parents to want to spend a lot. So I've set myself a goal of, I'll be really happy if I reach $500 in sales. Hence why I'm not taking everything to market. I just decided it's everywhere, and I need to know exactly what I have and exactly how much I have. That's how I discovered my Demigorgon wasn't where it should be. It's not at all. So that's it today. Tomorrow's the market. I do very little filming and vlogging at the market. I'm not very good at it. I am going to try, and I will come back and do a market review on what I sold. Hopefully the weather will hold off. It shouldn't be raining this time of year, and I know the community group really want a successful market. See you then. Hi, I'm finally getting around to filming part 3 of this market vlog. Part 3 is a review of the actual sales that happened at the market on the day. So it was last Sunday. Today is Saturday morning. I had a bit of a hiccup during the week. I wasn't well and I had a night in hospital. Post-viral chest infection apparently, and people burning off and setting fires and lots of smoke triggered a few breathing difficulties. But it's nothing serious and I will get better. I just have to stay warm a bit. It was like 18 degrees, 18 Celsius, which to some people may not seem cold, but when you live in the tropics, that is quite cold. That's what it dropped to last night, and it's still only just starting to warm up. In an hour or so, I'll be able to take off my cardigan. So the market day, did it meet my expectations or was it a disappointment? Let's review it and you can make a decision and let me know in the comments below. So market runs from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We bumped in at 6 a.m. and it took 2 hours to set up. That could be because maybe I wasn't feeling 100%. I was a little tired and I seemed to be foggy in the head and a bit slow. And Thing noticed I was starting to wheeze. So it did take a bit longer. It normally at this little market only takes me about an hour and a half. Possibly also, I still took way too much stuff. I have a photo of the setup. I did take a bit of video, but people around here are very funny about if their face appears in video, and I can't use it. So I'll show the photo of the setup. You'll notice there's an old green tarp laid out at the front. That's because we had humidity and then it gets really cold overnight. So when you get up in the morning, it's quite dewy. And I was a bit concerned the ground was dirty and if things fell. So Thing put down a green tarp, which at least would protect it. It is clean, it just looks old and grotty. And he pegged it down so no one can trip over it. But we did talk about getting some outdoor carpet to fill that space for the future. So my first sale was dead on 8 a.m. It was a customer. She bought 5 tea towels. I'm not going to list the sales by the time they're sold because a lot of them were one-offs, but I will give you my top 3 sellers and some other info. So coming in at number 3 were chicks in eggs. I sold 4 of those and they are still popular with the kids. I think 3 were chicks and 1 was a turtle. Number 2, I sold 5 bag charms. That's the most I have ever sold. Octos, Capybara, I didn't write them all down in detail, so I just put bag charms, and that's what they go under, depending on the price on Square. Number 1, of course, I took 48 tea towels and I sold 21. So what was the market like and why a lot of individual sales? Well, foot traffic was slow and it never really picked up and there wasn't a lot of children around. Considering it was a pet parade, funky hair day, have fun, it was a little flat. There was only me and 1 other person who had done funky hair. I had these with some purple in my hair. The rest hadn't, not even the organising committee. The pet parade I felt was held a bit too early. It could have been another half an hour late. And it seemed a bit, how's your father? It just happened. I did hear comments around my store later that it happens that way because the same people keep winning, even though they have 5 judges, I think. I didn't really watch it because it was sort of a bit iffy. It was in front of me to the left this way, and I could see it, but it just wasn't getting my attention. So foot traffic was slow with very few children. Highlights of the sales for me were I sold bigger items. I I sold a big guinea pig I made. I sold the big jellyfish in all the beautiful snuggle bug yarn. I sold a platypus that I've had around for a while. Now, I showed you earlier how I revamped some things. Well, the bread that was fairy bread, a little girl walked in and wanted it straight away. I want the fairy bread. So that sold. So that was worth revamping. I only sold one mystery bag. I'm not sure if people are just a bit dubious about what's in them. I could put like a spreadsheet of different items and you may get one of these, which might be a suggestion. So how much did I do in sales? Well, I'd set a goal of 500. I didn't expect it to be great because we've just gone through a massive fuel or gas, as you guys call it overseas, price hike. It was over $2 a litre. It's just a tad under $2 now, which means food prices go up because we get food freighted. We've also had bird flu hit the continent, and that means chicken prices will go through the roof. So I thought, well, parents are going to be quite careful about what they do. And I was right. Most kids only had $5 and there wasn't to spend, and there wasn't a lot of them there. However, my goal of 500, well, I did $670. Even though it felt really slow and a lot less than that, it's because I sold bigger items with a bigger dollar value. My fee for the day for the stall was $30. My SPOS fee was about $6 something. I didn't write it down. So I had 51 sales, but 29 of them were plushies. I'm trying to read my notes. My last sale, believe it or not, was at $12.54, and of course it was tea towels, 2 tea towels. So they still sell for me, and they're still worth me having. They get parent mums and grandmothers in, and the kids start looking. I didn't have a lot of $5 items. I did sell a few of the little finger octos, as I call them, that Cairns sent me. So thank you to Cairns. We have a donation ready for Emma's quest. I don't know if I'll do it now or whether I'll do it when we do another market, because I have a feeling there may be another market on the horizon. So the sales were better than I expected. I sold $40 items. I sold $25 items, which 25 to 20 is what I normally would sell. Anything over 25 is like a mystery. But one lady came in and went, and I did do the market stall a bit different, which I think was really effective for the bigger items. She came in and bought 2 bigger items for her grandchildren. I had 2 guys that the really bright, colourful with the yellow octo that I've shown in a previous video. Squid. That is a tutorial by Kim at Crafty Chaos Emporium. I always sell one, and I usually have 3 or 4 hanging around the canopy. It looked really great. The 2 guys couldn't decide. They were going away to buy for their niece. One wanted the octo, the other liked the platypus. Originally, he liked the Mona the mouse that I haven't sold yet. Mona the monkey, which I haven't sold yet. I may have to drop the price on that. But that's not why he didn't buy it. He's hugging, oh, I love this. And then the guy who said, I like the jellyfish, he said, I'm buying this. And then he looked at me and he said, is that safe for kids? And I said, actually, if you're going to buy one, I'd get the platypus, because Mona the monkey had artificial eyes. And he goes, good point. I never thought of that. So one bought the jellyfish, one bought the platypus, and they were really good sales too, and like really nice guys. The guy who bought the jellyfish told me I should make those starfish baby suits that everyone is showing. He said they're incredibly cute. I reckon they would sell really well. So there you go. Customers have always got some friendly advice. Actually, I don't mind them. I just don't know if I'd ever make them. So that was it. Basically, the sales are pretty good. It was slow. I did a bit of crafting. I think I made a gummy worm and put it out for sale. I only sold one Pokemon, which was Psycho Kitty. It was all random. There was nothing really anyone was zeroing in on. And most of them were, there was a family, the girl was pregnant and there were mum and two sisters or two friends and her, they all bought something. They bought a Bronto, a Drift. She bought The Frog by Girl Who Knots. That's a free one. I'll put a link to that on in the description below. It was a Bronto, Drift, a Frog. There was something else. I can't remember because I know the girl who bought, she was looking at the sausage sizzle and she wanted that and then decided no, they were buying for a baby. That's what she did. She bought a chicken and egg. There you go. So they did sell well. I had some cute kids. I had a lady from, let's hope I can pronounce this, Azerbaijan. She was here on holidays visiting family. Originally, her family are from Bhutan. She lives in Azerbaijan. Her mother lives here. Her sister lives in Ireland. And she told me a story about her little girl had this octo that she took everywhere. Took photos of it on holiday playing. And then the school or friends were going to Finland and they wanted to take it. She had like a scrapbook of all these photos and stories about this little octo. And the people who took it to Finland lost it. She never turned up. She was devastated, apparently. So she was looking at my bag buddies and my octos, and she was umming and ahhing. And that's because the ones I had out weren't by Tammy Mompreneur, who has the tentacles. And she said, oh, it had tentacles. And I went, hang on a minute, because I had a couple put aside if I had to do extra mystery bags. I pulled one out and she said, that is exactly what I want. And she said, it would be better if it was purple. It wasn't purple, but she said, I just said, well, you say this is the new one and give it a new name. She also bought one of the blob birds, the chicken, that's a pay-for pattern on Etsy by Girl Who Knots for the other daughter. She said she's not that into it, but I better take one for each. And it was really lovely talking to her, her friend and her mother about life around the world and how they're spread around the world. So there you go. She came for a visit because I said, oh, I could make you a purple one. And that's when her friend said, no, she's gone tomorrow. She flies out. So she still bought 2 little bag charms for her daughters to take back. So that's always nice to have something that tourists like. I tend to have a bit of Australiana because I'll get asked for that. Especially if we've got American tourists in town. And sometimes it's just a case of what they're looking for that their grandchildren like. So, was it disappointing? Well, the sales were great. I'm really excited about that. It was a good market. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hot. I was tired at the end and Thing did most of the pack up. So that might have indicated I was on the health slope of downhill. But it just, I don't know, I was disappointed in the committee, the way they organised the events and how flat it was and how no one got really into the hair theme and all that. So that was where my disappointment was. However, I do like doing this market. I like my spot. It's so close to home. I could leave stuff at home and say, ring Thing and say, can you bring down and have them all lined up, bags so-and-so, and just number the bags if I need more things. So I have signed up for my usual big market in November, which I do extremely well at. It's a very popular market at the Showground Centre. It's indoors. I get to bump in on the Saturday and the actual market day Sunday. So that's really easy. I like that. What I'm thinking is this local community held a market for Halloween in October. I have a feeling they may do one and that'll be the last for the year because it gets too hot. So I'm going to make a few Halloween things. I've still got some things that would fit into that theme and display my stand with Halloween things. I had my pet rescue sign. People looked. I sold a couple of pets. I think I gave away 3 adoption certificates. One for a horse, one for a cow. I sold no dogs, 1 loaf cat. Excuse me, nervous hiccups. So yes, the big loaf cat I made, the cow that I made, and the horse. They took adoptions, but that was it. It was just, people were just looking at random things and buying random things. The only amusable was the fairy bread because she loved it as soon as she saw it. Anyway, guys, I will be over the next months or so doing a few different things. There'll be a bit of market prep, but I may do some knitting, whatever floats my boat. I'll still be working. They're aware that I haven't been well, and I am taking leave in September. So I'm just going to just pace myself and work the hours until I'm 100%. But this post-viral thing is from 2 bouts of COVID years ago. It's just been sitting there, and they said it will flare up, but eventually it will go. And I'm good today. I feel really good. Hence, I'm doing a video. So I hope you've enjoyed this vlog in 3 parts. Just go to the part you like. However, it would be great if you watch it from start to end, because yet again, YouTube are taking watch hours off me like you wouldn't believe. And the new rule for watch hours is astronomical. But I do enjoy doing it, these videos. I do enjoy sharing you little stories with you from markets and what I do at markets. And I think I do okay. We don't have Comic-Cons or Supernovas up here. It's just not big enough. I did suggest to one of our major town organisers that even a mini Comic-Con on a smaller scale at our convention centre would be a good idea, because they're always looking for ideas to bring people into town. So that was my little at a meeting the other night. I let it, got it into the conversation. But I like my community market. It's doing really well, and I can't complain about the sales and the weather. Anyway, guys, until next time, stay safe. I will get well, and I hope you share with me on the Facebook group or on Instagram, or email me your photos of what you're making, so I can do like a subscriber slideshow of what we're making during the month of August. Until next time, bye for now.